Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Brat Said That, episode 82. Listen, I know we always start with the what, but unfortunately, the last 24 hours we have lost two amazing, beautiful icons in the world of just pop culture. Just two brilliant souls. Dolly Parton passed away yesterday at 80, and then we just found out today that Tim Curry passed away yesterday, but we found out today at age 80. So, not to start the show on a somber note, but this show is dedicated to Dolly Parton. The theme is going to be Tim Curry, but so rest in peace to Dolly Parton. Rest in peace to Tim Curry. If you don't know, I am a huge fan of Pennywise. No, Penny the Pug is not named after Pennywise. I do call Pennywise the Pug. But I love Pennywise. I love it. I love Tim Curry. I loved him in it, obviously, Clue, Rocky Horror Picture Show, probably his most famous role. But we're going to talk about him at the end of the show. We're going to talk about Dolly. I don't know too much about Dolly Parton. I mean, of course, when you grew up in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s and forever, you're going to know about Dolly Parton. But I just wanted to start the show, dedicate those beautiful souls. Rest in peace to Dolly Parton and Tim Curry. But hey, let's get started. Let's get started from the show. I'm your host, Brad Jackson, along with my co-producer, Chad LGBT, hanging out on this Wednesday. Beautiful 110-degree weather Wednesday. When will it stop? I don't know, but it is hot. It's to the point where it's so hot, I don't even want to go outside. Like Rolly, go walk yourself and then come back up. It's just, but it's hot. That's what happens when you move to a desert. Nobody's fault but ours. But anyway, let's get right into it, talking about it. Let's talk about wrestling, because wrestling's heating up. SummerSlam just ended a few weeks ago. Now we are heating up towards Money in the Bank. But we had Raw in Canada. Yeah, Raw in Canada. I didn't get to watch it because I had to do that thing called work, but I saw the results. We're going to talk about the results right now. We're going to talk about SmackDown, because it was a double taping. So I don't know what happened on SmackDown, so we're going to find out together. Remember, this is the International Sign of Spoilers. Raw results. Let's talk about it. Hope everybody had a great weekend. We're going to talk about everything that happened on Saturday. We're going to talk about breaking news, NFL. Breaking news. Let's see. The results for Raw, it is the Usos challenge LA Knight and Solo Sikoa. Yes, the Matrix Man himself, Solo Sikoa. This is your warning shot. I love it. So yes, Usos versus LA Knight and Solo Sikoa. We know last week the Usos were supposed to bring Solo Sikoa to Roman Reigns, and they kind of did, but Solo's like, nope, I'm going to team up with LA Knight. And little friction in the bloodline. Love seeing that happen. Stephanie Vasquez defeated Roxanne Perez. Stephanie Vasquez is slowly becoming one of my favorite women on Raw. Like we all know Chelsea being on SmackDown and Jordan Grace, but Stephanie Vasquez is another reason why Monday Night Raw is heating up just like the heat, just like the weather. So, they're still going to obviously have the blow off with Stephanie and Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan. So that division's really good. You got the Judgment Day there still. So obviously how life works, we'll see what happens with that. But I think we're gonna get Stephanie's title back. And then, man, what about Stephanie versus Becky at SummerSlam or Survivor Series? Or you can hold that over to WrestleMania. That is a WrestleMania caliber match, absolutely. One match I'm really excited for: Rey Fenix defeated Dragon Lee. Really cool table spot they did. Dragon Lee's on the table. He's kind of getting up. Rey Fenix runs and Lucha Libres himself all the way over and takes out Dragon Lee. I thought it was great. Now we officially have the finals. It's going to be Rey Fenix versus Penta. Winner takes on Roman Reigns in Mexico City. We all knew that was going to be the finals. ever since this tournament was announced. Brother versus brother. Oh, maybe we should talk about brother versus brother matches in WWE history. Maybe that's a good segment for next show. But one thing that I know I've said is Sunday night's main event is heating up. Oba Femi versus Braun Breaker. Yes. Those two men. They're going to main event WrestleMania one day. Come back in the next 2 years, 3 years when Brat Said That, episode 413. Those two are going to main event WrestleMania. I'm looking forward to those two. But their first encounter one-on-one, I don't think they did anything in NXT. Sunday night's main event. Oh, I can't wait for that. Looking forward to that. Okay? We had Big Cass come out in his first match back in the first time more than 8 years, taking on Javon Evans. Definitely don't want to see Javon in that, bring somebody back, take out Javon. I don't want to see. I think Javon has so much potential. Big Cass too. But those two maybe in the future, Money in the Bank. Maybe have those two in the Money in the Bank match. You don't really see too many tall guys in Money in the Bank. Yeah, you have the Big Show and Kane, but Big Cass would be great Money in the Bank. Javon Evans too. So Penta defeated L.A. Parker. Love Parker. L.A. Parker. What would that be? L.A. Parker. C. Nerd. Anyway, so Penta obviously defeated La Parker, which isn't the same La Parker I grew up on. It's another La Parker. And that is going to lead to the finals between Phoenix and Penta, brother versus brother. Speaking about brothers fighting brothers, during the main event, you got Solo and LA Knight taking on the Usos, but out comes Royce Keys. Yes, Royce Keys comes out, attacks everybody, and so comes out OTM. I don't know who OTM was. I know they're NXT guys. Bronco Nima and Lucian Price. That's their names. That's who you're seeing. Royce Keys. Now, I saw this like a Shield ripoff. Stop it. Just because they all wear black and have bandanas doesn't mean they're Shield ripoff. But yeah, good place for Royce. Why did he attack Solo and LA Knight? I thought they were friends, but we'll figure out why. I love when you see guys like Bronco Nima and Lucian Price, even though I just said I don't know who they are. I love when they debut because it's not one of those debuts that's coming. Like when Braun Strowman made his debut, he wasn't on NXT. He just went straight to the main roster. And I know these two, Bronco Nima and Lucian Price, they were on NXT, but there wasn't any hype packages coming next week, these two. It's a shock, it's a surprise. And it was a good Raw ending. We'll see what happens with Royce Keys and OTM. I think this is great for Royce Keys because he definitely was in that spot. Up yours, Jackson. Well, let me tell you something, Alex. Up yours. FAFO is going down. Yes, heavy is the crown in a few weeks. We're going to talk about that coming up in a few weeks. And I cannot wait till I see you and the rest of your FAFL go down. Just like Royce Keys and OTM took down LA Knight, Soda Scola, and the Usos. So, that was Raw. Very good Raw. It's kind of squashed in the middle of we do have Sunday Night's main event coming up. Not a PLE. We do have Money in the Bank coming up, but that's not until 2 months from now. AAA is having a Triple Mania. I would love to go. Would love to take Babe. I looked at tickets. They're not that expensive, which is great. But, it's kind of that random Raw in the middle of August. Not much you can do. But SmackDown, we're going to find out the SmackDown spoilers together. So, remember the spoilers. Spoilers, okay? Let me go to Fightful, because, let's see. I don't know the details, obviously, because it hasn't been posted. But these are the spoilers for Friday. So if you don't want to listen to spoilers, mute or get out. Kevin Owens starts cutting a promo. CM Punk interrupts, and then Gunter interrupts, and Finn interrupts. Holy interruptions. KO versus Gunter versus Finn, and a number one contenders match is set up. Really, how can people complain about that? You have Kevin Owens, one of the greatest of all time. Gunter, who is not slowly, but is cementing his legacy, is becoming the greatest of all time. And Finn Balor, who is 3 future Hall of Famers in a triple threat match. I was watching this thing. It was called Random Matches of the Attitude Era. It's been going on for 16 days. It's been streaming. A random Raw was Stone Cold versus Triple H versus The Rock. And it's just amazing to see, we're getting still to this day. Gunter, KO, and Finn. in an amazing three-way match. Irresistible Forces, Nia Jax from Last Legend defeated Tiffany Stratton, Chelsea Green. Chelsea comes back after Maddox by taking her away. Now, I got a little scared. I saw a video of Chelsea outside the ring nursing, I think maybe her knee or her face or whatever. She's now wearing a mask. Still looks 10 out of 10. But I thought, oh, Chelsea, please don't get injured again. Please don't get injured again. You hurt your face. You're the women's champion. If you hurt your knee, your leg, your foot, or whatever, you're out. But that was more of a, spot more than anything, showing Chelsea is a fighting champion. Now, babe, if you're watching, you're going to enjoy this. Gunther then comes out, interrupts a meeting between Nick Aldis and Danhausen. Yes, Danhausen, more Danhausen. We need Danhausen on all the shows. All the shows. Tatum Paxley defeated Mishin, which is good because Tatum Paxley, she's now with Alexa and Charlotte. Got to get herself kind of established between those three. Mishin's great talent. Good to have putting people over. Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes promo with Randy Orton mentioning Brandy Rhodes and Mama Rhodes. You went personal. Okay, you can do you can mention Dusty Rhodes. I was about to do a Dusty Rhodes impression, but I can't do it. I can't do it, baby. No, I can't do it. And maybe Goldust, but you don't mention Brandy and Mama. So this whole feud is getting personal. JCJ defeated Paige. Good to see Paige, wrestle. A lot of times Paige was injured. She was coming up young, 19, 20, NXT champion, women's champion on the very first night in the WWE. Then it kind of went downhill with stuff outside of, not the best of picking relationships. Not gonna lie, but still seeing her continue her true passion is great. Never been a huge Paige fan. Definitely wasn't a huge fan of Paige when she was in AEW. But once you leave AEW, come back to WWE, I'm more open to you because I just don't like that side. Nikki Bella does come out and attack Paige. So Nikki Paige, Nikki Bella, Paige Bella, Bella Bella Paige. We got that finally happening after they kicked out Paige for not being a Bella. Blake Monroe did a backstage interview, but is whooped. Their words, not mine. Whooped by Julia. Good. Give Julia something. I know the internet is like, we need Julia, more Julia. So good to see her doing more than she was before. Blake Monroe, maybe have a Sunday night's main event between Blake Monroe and Julia. Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens versus Gunther ends in a DQ when that bastard Sami Zayn interferes. No justice for Sami. Yes. Punk comes out, but Sami lays everyone out with the title. So what do? Do you make a star-studded Money in the Bank? Do you do Sami, Finn, Gunther, KO at Money in the Bank? Like I said, we've said it on the show, and it's got positive reviews. Sami wins Money in the Bank. Later that night, Kevin Owens wins the WWE Championship. Sami cashes it on Kevin Owens and takes away his title. I think it would be amazing. I think that would happen. But overall, looks like a good SmackDown. Looks like the same pattern they've been doing, building feuds, pushing the Blake Monroe, the Paige and Nikki story. Obviously, hyping up Sunday night's main event. We aren't going to have a show Saturday. Yes, I have off Saturday. I'm looking forward to it. But Saturday is, not Saturday night's main event, Sunday night's main event. So we're going to take a look at the Sunday night's main event Saturday, give our predictions. I don't think any other matches have been added to it. Let's see. Yeah, just the 3 matches we've talked about, but still a little bit more time. Maybe add a match or 2 there. But overall, that was SmackDown. Sounds good. Let's see what else we want to talk about in the bad news too. We talked about Chelsea being hurt. Matt Cardona is hurt. Yes, he tore his tricep. Come on, why can't you? The injury bug is just addicted. It's like it's collecting injuries with Matt Cardona. Like Matt Cardona collects action figures, but damn, see Matt Cardona torn tricep injury during a match, WWE main event match against Kit Wilson. What happened to Kit Wilson? He was over like Rover for like 3 weeks, but Now he's just back to being the Miz's sidekick. But yeah, unfortunately for that, Matt Cardona is still injured and he's out. So hopefully he comes back. He was getting a little bit of a push, interrupting Gunther and defending his wife, which you should do, always do, But one of my favorites, NXT Heatwave, though, I am looking so forward to. That's probably one of the biggest NXT shows I've been looking forward to for a long time. That's also happening on Sunday. Oh, I'm sorry. Sunday night's main event isn't until September 6th. Heatwave is August 30th. So this weekend, we'll talk about Heatwave. Looking forward to Tony D'Angelo versus Grayson Waller versus Cruz Montana versus Zilla. The more I watch NXT push Zilla, the more I can see Zilla becoming champion on his debut match. We have a couple other matches. Miles Morn versus Jackson Drake. Really starting to like Vanity Project, especially with Micah Lockwood. I think that's a perfect combination with Brad Baylor and Ricky Smokes. Jada Parker versus Natty. Submission match. Good. I love submission matches. I've won a couple. As long as the referee doesn't see it, it counts. Zarya versus Ren Sinclair. Versus Kaylee Armstrong. I'm not too sure who Kaylee Armstrong is. She was the one-time inaugural Evolve Women's Champion. She is inserted in that match. Winner takes all for both the NXT Women's North American Championship and the WWE Women's Speed Championship. Good, get that Speed title out of there. I think it's stupid. I think it's dumb. I think it's gross. Miles Morn versus Jackson Drake, NXT North American Championship. So, do we see every title change hand? Do we see a new NXT champion with Zilla? Do we see a new NXT Women's Champion with Kalani Jordan? Maybe. And I definitely see a new, obviously, NXT Women's North American and Speed Championship. Miles Morn against Jackson Drake. I would like to see Jackson Drake and the whole Vanity Project win their titles respectively. So that's going to be great. I'm going to watch that. I always say I'm going to watch it, not watch it, but I'm going to watch that. NXT Heatwave this Sunday in Edinburgh, Texas. That's down south. But we did have a huge pay-per-view this week. TNA Lockdown, where every match was inside a steel cage. And we're going to give you the results because it was a really, really good event. In the pre-show, Joe Alonzo defeated the Hometown Man. I like this Hometown Man gimmick because he comes out and he says he's from the hometown of wherever he is. So, that was for the AAW Heavyweight Championship, which is awesome because you don't see many indie companies getting their titles defended. Since Alonzo won, he is now a TNA wrestler under contract. The Righteous, Vincent and Dutch defeated BD, in which Swan loved the Righteous. Trey Miguel defeated Special Agent Zero, and then the main card starts. Every single match inside a steel cage. AJ Francis defeated Elijah. See, I'm telling you, these two, they were all former WWE wrestlers. Now they're making their name in TNA, which is great. Ali and Kira Hogan defeated the Elegance brand. Heather by Elegance and M by Elegance. Steel cage match, obviously. I'm not going to talk about how every match is inside a steel cage. We did it last time. TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Champions retain that. Frankie Kazarian defeated Moose. Escaped the cage. Xia Brookside retained against Alana Black in a steel cage match for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. And a match that looked phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Mustafa Ali defeated Jason Hodge for the TNA International Championship. And then the match we were talking about, the Leon Slater versus Cedric Alexander. If Slater lost, his previous title reign would have been erased from history, which that's not how things work. But Leon Slater won. He gets to keep his reign. He gets to keep all his momentum, his accolades, his resume. In a great match. Lethal Lockdown. Eddie Edwards defeated Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers, Bear Bronson, and Alicia Edwards defeated Ricky Sosa, Bang Bang Sosa, Fabian Eichner, Casey Navarro, and Jada Stone. And in the main event, the Nemitz, Nick, and Ryan defeated the Hardys for the TNA World Tag Team Championship inside a steel cage. Afterwards, Leon Slater interrupted the Nemitz challenge, Slater announced that he was going to invoke Option C to face Nick Nemeth for the TNA World Championship at Bound for Glory, which is in October, and to become the youngest world champion in TNA history. Maybe a good segment for our future show will be looking at all the youngest champions in promotions. Oh, man. But, yeah. Also, too, the phenomenal son, Avery Styles, yes, AJ Styles' son, has been announced as the newest signee in TNA. Good for Avery Styles. If his last name was Stevens, he probably wouldn't get that contract, but since he is the son of the phenomenal AJ Styles, who built TNA up to where it is now, he kind of gets a pass. But overall, Lockdown was a great show. Loving it. I don't think anything else surprisingly happened that we should talk about. Avery Styles, yeah. Avery Styles stated he intends to follow his father's footsteps. Duh. Frank Kazarian then welcomed Avery. Kazarian stated his close connection with Avery's father and that he, AJ, Samoa Joe, and Christopher Daniels built TNA. 100%. He then warned Avery to not trust anyone in the roster except him. Oh, okay. I like that. I like that a lot. We might see, I would love to see Christopher Daniels come back for helping Avery in TNA, but he is in AEW. AEW is having their all-in pay-per-view. All out. I don't remember. I'm not doing this to be funny. I literally don't remember if it's all in or all out. So let's see. All in 2026. Oh yes, it is all in. And okay, listen, Jiggles. In order to go in, in order to go out, you have to go in. So first you go in. So it's all in. Okay, listen. We got the Continental Challenge Cup bracket. Okay, it hasn't been posted, but we'll talk about it. It started August 8th, but Moxley defeated Jack Perry, Jay White defeated David Finlay, Claudio Castagnoli defeated Ace Austin, Eddie Kingston defeated Jake Doyle, Orange Cassidy defeated Matt Sydal, Kyle O'Reilly defeated Roderick Strong, I can't pronounce his name, Hecatorio defeated Brian Cage, and Nigel McGuinness defeated Shibata. I can't believe I just said that. Nigel McGuinness defeated Shibata. What a match. I gotta check that out. Regardless of AEW love or hate, that's a dream match. Quarterfinals, Moxley defeated Jay White. Claudio defeated Daniel Garcia in a little Death Riders feud. Kyle O'Reilly defeated Orange Cassidy. And Nigel McGuinness defeated Hecatorio. And then we got the semifinals happening today. Moxley and Claudio, Kyle O'Reilly, and Nigel McGuinness. Wow. Wow. Hey, babe. We were just talking about SmackDown, how it was pre-taped. Giving out some spoilers. I'm not going to say any spoiler housings, but on Friday, we should definitely check it out, housing. We got Moxley and Claudio in the semifinals, Nigel and Kyle in the semifinals, the finals in All Out, in London, All In. I think Moxley and McGuinness in London. Give me Moxley versus McGuinness. I might have to watch AEW tonight just to watch these two matches because, Moxley and Claudio, amazing talent. Kyle O'Reilly, amazing. Nigel McGuinness, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. So, we will check out All In this Sunday, or what is it, Saturday and Sunday? Yes, Sunday pay-per-view. We're going to get back on Saturday. We'll talk more about the finals and all that stuff, but wow, that's going to be a hell of a match. Also, Daniel Garcia did face Adam Priest in RH Death Before Dishonor. Winner takes over Eddie Kingston's spot because Eddie Kingston could not wrestle, or I don't think anyone had faced Claudio. So, other than that, a little bit of business news, put on your suit and tie. Two business stories. ESPN is denying a report that it has already decided not to renew WWE. That's worth mentioning because WWE's media rights are obviously a gigantic deal, but, I heard some things about how ESPN is not happy with the ratings, and I'm not happy either. Get off TV, Get off ESPN. Go back to network. Go back to television. You know, Netflix is doing good things. You know, but ESPN, I don't know. And WWE Japanese broadcaster Abima says its WWE relationship will end at the end of September. That's insane. So, no more WWE broadcasts for Abima in Japan, which is that way. Or that way. But other than that, we talked all about wrestling. We can talk about it because we're going to move on. Last show I talked about Chris Cyborg and her legendary career and how she's going to retire. Well, after she defeated Caitlin Vieira, she's like, well, you know what, Brat, I'm not going to retire anymore. So your whole talk about me retiring is out of the picture. So Cyborg is not retired. She is a PFL featherweight champion. She did defeat Vieira by very good decision because, you know, Chris Cyborg is one of the best women's fighters and overall fighter of all time. But yeah, not retiring. I thought she was retiring, not retiring. Stop charging $29. I agree. Stop charging $29.99. Yeah, so Chris Cyborg, she's not retiring. We do have another fight night coming up to Saturday. But let's talk about last week. We were right. Gregory Rodriguez defeated Anthony Hernandez by decision for the first time in forever. I picked the main event right. Vitor Perino defeated Sergey Spivak by decision. Rene DeRieder came back with a huge win against Roman Dolidze in the light heavyweight division. I think that is more RDR's division. I want to talk about this guy, Anthony Wint, who fought on the Contender Series. We're going to talk more about the Contender Series. In August 11th, won against Matt Adams, 34 seconds. Then they're like, hey, you want to fight in 11 days? He's like, absolutely. Another huge win for Anthony Wint. In 11 days, he has 2 victories, this time with a submission against Terrence Chapman. So keep an eye out for that name, Anthony Wint. Overall, in the lot of TKO, submission, KO, TKO, submission, TKO. Wow. A lot of finishes on that card. You know, I always see these people on the internet, on the Twitter, they're always like, oh, this card's going to suck because you know names. Big names don't make cards. Fights make the cards. Fights make good fights. Finishes, you know, having 10 finishes in a card. Amazing. So, Gregory Rodriguez and Anthony Hernandez won the fight tonight. Performance of the night is Markel Maderos and Carly Judice. So it's kind of insane. You know, who do you pick to get the performance of the night when 10 people got the finishes? This weekend though is a huge card in China, which is also that way. Umar Nurmagomedov versus Song Yadong in the bantamweight division. We know Nurmagomedov. He has been on a roll. He got a little bit stopped by Merab, but everybody loses to Merab. We'll speak more about Merab in a second. He's coming off 2 wins against Mario Batista and Davison Figueiredo. Song Yadong, he lost. I think it was a little, what is it called? Closer against Sean O'Malley, but he did go on to defeat Davison Figueiredo in May. So those two are in the bantamweight main event. Yan Zhangyan, women's strawweight versus Denise Gomez, and just other fights on that card looking good. It's going to be in Shanghai, China. Well, you know, we might have not a watch along because I don't think anybody wants to, you know, watch a bantamweight main event that's not for the title. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to give our predictions. But there has been announced UFC 333, the card in Abu Dhabi, October 24th. For the UFC Featherweight Championship, Alexander the Great Volkanovski is taking on Mazar Ilavov. Yes, Mazar Ilavov. Hope I'm pronouncing that name right. 20-0. Wow, 20-0 is coming for the next title shot. And in the co-main event, we've seen it 2 times before. Peter Yan is defending against Merab the Machine for the UFC Bantamweight Championship. Looking forward to that fight. Arnold Allen versus Aaron Pico. Alexander Volkov versus Rizvan Kunanov. Dominic Reyes. Lone Kavanaugh. Gonna be a great fight card in Abu Dhabi, so you know that's gonna happen early o'clock in the West Coast. UFC 332 doesn't have a main event. October 3rd in Salt Lake City. It looks like the UFC Women's Flyweight Championship between Valentina Shevchenko and Natalie Silva is scheduled to serve as a co-main event. But what would the main event be? Let's see. Let's look at the possibilities of what that co-main event or what that main event might be coming up in for Salt Lake City. Let's see. There's no UFC Featherweight Championship anymore. The BMF Championship is dumb. Mackenzie Dern just fought, so she's not going to defend the Women's Strawweight Championship, and that's probably not going to main event a pay-per-view. Valentina Shevchenko, we just talked about. Kayla Harrison, if she's ready, versus Amanda Nunes. I would love to see that as a main event. Shit, I might just go down to Utah and go watch it. Go up to Utah. Yeah, go up. If I went down, I would be in Arizona. Man, I didn't think about that. Harrison versus Nunes, that can main event a pay-per-view. Joshua Vaughn, he is fighting Alexander Pantoja in a rematch. The next pay-per-view coming up. Peter Yan, we talked about Marab, UFC 333. Volkanovski, Mazarev, 333. Justin Gaethje just fought UFC Freedom 250. I don't think he's going to fight again soon. Islam just defeated Machado at 330. Sean Strickland and Chimaev, that can be a fight card that can main event, that rematch. Carlos Yalberg, he just fought in April. I think he's injured. We might get to see that light heavyweight championship. Siragan is not going to defend against Tom Aspinall. They're not going to do two Europeans. I did hear that on another show, so I'm not copying them and saying it myself. But it is a good point. I don't see them. So, man, Harrison versus Nunes would be a great main event. And Strickland versus Chimaev. So, we just got to have to wait and see. But there is a huge gap that we need to, figure out. October 3rd, that's, a month and a half away. But, overall, UFC 331 we got coming up. That is in a few weeks. Crypto.com. Vaughn Pantoja, Armin Sarukian, Mauricio Ruffy, and others. Yeah. So, speaking about Tom Aspinall, there was a little report. Somebody said that Aspinall was leaving the promotion, vacating the title. Those are false. Don't listen to those reports. Now, the speculation stemmed from comments attributed to a striking coach, Stipe Doris, who also called the reports fake news. Aspinall sidelined since a no contest against Gane almost a year ago due to eye injuries and surgeries. His commitment is to return when he's clear. So I'm really looking forward to Gane versus Aspinall. But we need to talk about kind of a breaking news. Dana White's Contender Series happened last night, and we might have had the biggest upset in UFC history because in the main event, Bella Mir, daughter of Frank Mir, UFC heavyweight legend, was supposed to win her fight easily. I think a minus 6,000 underdog against Alex Apodaca. Did not go Bella Mir's way. She lost by decision. The internet is just blowing up. A lot of people are like, this is the biggest upset in UFC history. I don't think so. But Bella Mir, she's got a lot of potential. Her dad is Frank Mir. She's been, training all her life. This is just a step back for her. Everybody loses, This, I think, is only her 5th or 4th MMA fight. So let's not throw in the towel at a 19-year-old or however old she is. Good for the win for Alex. That is just a huge statement. She got the contract, so maybe we can see a rematch on the UFC main roster. But yeah, a lot of people are poking fun at Bella, saying, oh, she lost, she's not ready. And, I'm not going to say if she is ready or not, because she's very talented. I'm not giving her the BRATWURST Award, because even though she lost, I already have that already planned out to give that to something. But she'll bounce back. Her dad's a legend. She'll follow in his footsteps. And you never know. All these betting odds, the favorites, the underdogs. It's all fugazi. It's all fugazi. But good win for Alex, and Bella will bounce back. Let's talk a little bit about baseball, because last time we talked about baseball, we talked about the Brewers. Excuse me. 22-0 over the Mariners. And good for Cal Raleigh. He's hit 3 home runs in his last 3 at-bats, so good for him. I've always liked Cal Raleigh. But I want to look at the 22-0, because I want to look at the biggest blowouts in sports history. So I went to the Google, I went to the ChatGPT, the co-host, and I ranked, ESPN ranks the 100 worst blowouts in sports history. We're not going to go 100, because that would take forever. But let's do 25. Okay? 25, we have 2009, New England Patriots 59 to the Tennessee Titans 0. Ouch. Tom Brady threw 5 second-quarter touchdowns in a snowy day in Foxborough. NFC Divisional Playoffs, 1987, en route to the first Super Bowl victory. The Giants defeated San Francisco 49ers, 49-3. I'm sure, Papa, you were loving every second of that. Football, Oklahoma, 77, Texas A&M, 2003. Just overall, 77 points. Damn. AFC Championship, 1991. The only good thing the Bills did in the early 90s, 51-3 over the Los Angeles Raiders. Oh, man. The Bills secured their first of 4 consecutive trips to the Super Bowl, which they lost all 4. Wow. In boxing, we got Mike Tyson. Now, Mike Tyson, we'll talk about Mike Tyson, okay? 30-second TKO over Marvis Frazier in 1986. Wow, that is amazing. Fiesta Bowl, Nebraska 62, Florida 24. That's a little bit closer than the other games we talked about. But, hey, 62 points in an NCAA game is amazing. Hockey, number 19. The Detroit Red Wings defeated the New York Rangers 15-0. Do you know how much you got to suck to give up 15 goals? This is back in 1944. I'm sure we were having a lot other problems in the 1944 than hockey, but damn. New York Rangers, not very good. 2005, Orange Bowl. UCS, Oklahoma, 55-19. Reggie Bush, let's see, the win was vacated more than 5 years. So enough of just vacated wins and taking back Heismans and all that shit. That's not how things work. NBA Finals Game 3, the Bulls defeated the Utah Jazz 96-54. Ouch. Michael Jordan, of course, scored game-high 24 points. That was June 7, 1998. A French Open, 12 days before it was won. Steffi Graf defeated Natasha Zovera 6-0, 6-0. That sounds like a blowout. I remember watching this blowout live. Super Bowl, I don't know what that number is. It's in Roman numerals. A lot of XLVIII. Seattle Seahawks defeated Denver Broncos 43-8. We all remember the very first play was the safety. Now, do you know if you would have put, let's say, $100 that the first play or the first goal or the first score would be a safety in the Super Bowl, you would be a trillionaire. You would be a trillionaire. But yeah, Seahawks never gave up, 43-8. Jacksonville won. Jacksonville Jaguars 62 against the Dolphins 7-2000. This was, oh my God, that is the game. The Jaguars sent Dolphins head coach Jimmy Johnson and Hall of Fame quarterback Dan Marino into retirement. Not a good swan song for Dan Marino, still one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. 13th Super Bowl, I think that's 27. Cowboys over the Bills. Another one of the Bills losing the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, that was when the Cowboys would win the Super Bowl in 1993, 52-17. Ugh. NFC Championship game. The New York Giants versus Minnesota Vikings, January 14, 2001. Wow. Yeah, that was a Kelly Collins, Joe Montana-like for the Giants. I think they went on to make the Super Bowl, or let's see, the Super Bowl that year. I think they lost to the Ravens. Yeah, obviously, because the NFC Championship game. We might come back to that game. The Big 12 Championship, Texas 70, Colorado 3. 2007, the Rangers put up 30 points against the Orioles. Wow. Super Bowl 20, the Chicago Bears, the greatest team of all time. Chicago's 1986 Chicago Bears is a documentary about it. Go check it out. It is amazing. They won against the New England Patriots 46-10. The Big Ten Championship, 2014, Ohio State defeated Wisconsin 59-0. Don't know too much about that. Sounds like a Midwestern feud going on there. World Cup semifinals, Germany 7, Brazil 7. That's in 2014. Football, 1997, UCLA against Texas, 66-3. And then I can't believe I'm reading this right. In football, 1916, Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets put up 222 points against Cumberland 0. The Yellow Jackets, 32 touchdowns, 15 takeaways, 978 rushing yards. Wow. Cumberland, whose leading rusher had -2 yards, totaled -42 yards rushing. Damn. Super Bowl 24, San Francisco 49ers defeated Denver Broncos 55-10. That happened in 1990. The final three, we got Tiger Woods win 2000 U.S. Open by 15 strokes. Giggity. Horse racing, we all remember Secretariat. He wins the Belmont Stake by 31 lengths. That's a big difference. And number one, the biggest blowout in sports. We have to go all the way back to 1940. The Chicago Bears 73, Washington Redskins 0. Wow. Absolutely amazing stuff. There is another 75, but I'm not going to talk about the other 75. But I do want to see where that World's Super Bowl between the Giants and the Ravens land, because I remember watching that Super Bowl and it was really bad. The Giants got blown out, and the Ravens, with their legendary defense, went on to win. Oh, the Pittsburgh Penguins 8-0 against the 1991. So, other than that, man, that was the biggest blowouts in sports. We talked about 22-0. We love blowouts. Speaking about blowouts, I guess, I don't know how to... The NFL just decided they're going to blow out the Pro Bowl. No more Pro Bowl. Yes, the Pro Bowl happened every year since really, 35 years? The week before the Super Bowl, they had the Pro Bowl. Then a few years later, they're like, well, you know what, let's make it tag football. Let me take your flag. Poke your down. Play the game. But now we're going to focus on the Pro Bowl games, and, the who can throw the farthest, and who can kick this, and who can do that. I don't like it. Beginning this season, 88 players will be named to a Pro Bowl class in December. That's cool. The All-Star game, MLB used to mean something. The Pro Bowl used to mean something. Now in hockey, you got country versus country versus country versus country. The slam dunk contest is a disaster. The All-Star game is Team LeBron every year versus Team Giannis, whatever. But, yeah. Speaking about teams, the Saints signed Pro Bowl kicker Daniel Carlson. He was on the Raiders. I met him kind of once. I didn't know who he was, but good to see him. He's now going to on the Saints. The Browns, the legendary Browns, have made another bonehead decision. Deshaun Watson will open the season as a Cleveland Browns starting quarterback. Todd Monk, who is probably the 30th coach in the last 3 years, announced Monday. And in his first news conference as a Brown starter, Watson apologized for his first post-game comments Saturday in which he called fans disrespectful booing him. Well, Deshaun Watson, you kind of a turd, so that's why people boo you. No NBA news to talk about. I like that blowout. I want to get more talk about that blowout next time. But Little League World Series, our Henderson team is making it to the championship game. Yes, we kind of discovered that it's, the U.S., they battle out international teams, they battle out, and it is going to be Henderson repping the U.S. Oh, no. Henderson versus whoever in the U.S. championship game. The winner will face that team. We will look at the Little League World Series. I'm so happy for this team. Peso Verde dominates, talking about blowout, 14-6, advancing to the Little League World Series. Yes, defeated Iowa. Sorry, Seth Rollins. Let's see, Little League World Series. Let's see who they're going to face. I know Westchester, Pennsylvania was in it, because if you know anything about Viva La Bam, he is from Westchester. Let's see. Oh, God, there's a lot of words here. I don't know how that works, but let's get out of that statement. Little League World Series. Let's go. Let's talk about it. 2026. Let's see. How's this going? Let's see. There's so many different brackets, qualifications. Anyway, Henderson's moving on. Good for them. I'm excited. Don't know what other team is going to face Henderson in the championship game. If this was the right section, child LGBT, not always perfect, everybody. That's why you got to, make sure you're come on now. Let me figure out God, there's so many words and numbers, and let's go. Let's see. We talked about who was in the Little League World Series last show. Let's see. We talked about Daniel Monte. We talked about Ron DeSantis playing in the Little League World Series, which is absolutely amazing. Hopefully he was a better baseball player than he was a mayor or governor, whatever he is. But yeah, I don't know who the team's going to face, but good for Henderson. I'm proud of them. Let's make it all the way to the heads to U.S. Let's look at the news. How about we look at the news, all right? Look at the news. Let's see. The United States Championship will begin on Saturday. Should the Paso Verde team take the game, they will move on, which will take place on August 30th. So they will face Paso Verde 14-6 against Davenport. Paso Verde, second time Williamsport. Doesn't say. So we'll figure it out. But good for Henderson. Good for Henderson. But you know what? Before we get to Dolly Parton, before we get to Tim Curry, we do have to give out the BRATWURST Award. The BRATWURST Award is going to one of my favorite places. I love going to this place. But Target, what are you doing? Target pulled its kids' glow-under black light circus clown Halloween costume after people pointed out that the dark hood, oversized toothy grin, black gloves, and promotional image of a black child strongly invoked racism, Jim Crow era caricatures. Target apologized on August 24th, saying the costume was offensive, should never have been sold, and it is investigating how it got approved. Well, dummy, yeah, you approved it. You're a corporation. You don't let that little stuff slide. So Target, even though I love going to you, even though I prefer you over Walmart, even though, but the BRATWURST, that's just stupid. I like to give BRATWURST awards to people, to teams, but a corporation, Target, I don't know who approved it. You shot down the damn arrow through your own foot. Congratulations. BRATWURST Award goes to you. But I would still see you down the street, because there's literally one down the street from us. I think there's a Target down the street from everybody. But let's talk about it. We opened the show, dedicating the show to Dolly Parton. Now, I don't know too much about Dolly Parton. Obviously, Dolly Parton was one of the greatest selling musical artists of all time. Dollywood, I know that. she's just overall, she was a good soul. You know, the 9 to 5, the Jolene, the coat of many colors. I'm reading this from her page, but she passed away at age 80. Yeah, it's sad because she was a good, pure soul, and she just was always the Grand Ole Opry. She went out there. She loved making things better. In such a world we live in where it's all about take, you know, seeing people give, you know, and just 80 is, you know, it stinks. But we'll look at Dolly Parton. We'll look at, you know, she was in movies. She filmed Romeo and Juliet. That's cute. She was Joyful Noise. She was an 8-part Netflix series of her music career. We should check that out. Series called Dolly Parton's Heartstrings. You know, overall Dolly Parton, you know, she had so much to do with, like, up-and-comers. Like, Miley Cyrus was her goddaughter, you know. I'm a big fan of Miley Cyrus. She did stuff on The Simpsons. Her voice work, you know. Just, you know, Sylvester Stallone, Rhinestone, 1984, Dollywood and Pigeon Forge. If you ever go to Pigeon Forge, make sure you don't only stop at Dollywood. I'm sorry. I always thought it was Dolly World. Dollywood. Check out the micro wrestling down the street. Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5. You know? Let's see. Dolly Parton 2022. The way I look and the way I look then was a country girl's idea of glam. Just like I wrote in my Backwoods Barbie song, people wanted me to change. They thought I looked cheap, but I patterned my look after the town tramp. Everybody said she's trash, and in my little girl mind, I thought, well, that's what I'm going to be when I grow up. It was really like a look I was after. I wasn't a natural beauty. She was. So I like to look the way I look. I'm outgoing inside in my personality, that I need the way I look to match all of that. And she was a good-looking woman, too. You know, besides the big hair, you know, she's got, you know. So, rest in peace, Dolly Parton. You're a legend in every single way. Let's see. She was, earning 11 Grammy Awards, 3 Emmys, as well as nominations for 2 Academy Awards, 6 Golden Globes as a Tony Award. She was known for the cultural influence via Dollywood and Dollywood Foundation. With more than 100 million records sold, Parton is among the best-selling music artists of all time. We talked about her movies, 9 to 5 in 1980, The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. She was in Hannah Montana. So, rest in peace to Dolly Parton. And then just when you think it gets any better, we lost the legendary Tim Curry. Now, Tim Curry, I think, is best well known for the Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's why I have a documentary about the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Me, though, yes, he was in Home Alone 2. Yes, he was in all these other movies. I loved him in Clue. Wadsworth in Clue, one of my favorite movies of all time. I might have to go watch Clue in honor of Tim Curry. But it wasn't just Rocky Horror Picture Show. It wasn't just Clue, Home Alone 2. By the way, Home Alone 2 has taken Kathleen O'Hara. It's taken Tim Curry. And this the Bird Lady. Excuse me for not knowing her name. But, I loved him in Clue. I know I watched the Rocky Horror Picture Show like 20 years ago. I should check it out. I love the music. I love musicals. I'm a musical guy. But, you know, it looked like a heavy smoker. Curry stated that he... Wait a second. Before I even start talking about this, I need to talk about one of his biggest roles of all time. Wasn't a movie. No. Him being the original Pennywise in It. Yes, how could I forget It? TV adaptation back in the 90s. He played Pennywise. A lot different than Bill Skarsgård Pennywise. This one was a little different. This was more circusy, you know. Do you have Prince Albert in a can? You know. Kiss me, fat boy. You know. I love this. I love Tim Curry. My throat's starting to get hurt, but we're going to get off in a second. But just overall, you know, his voice acting too. A lot of Thornberries. In 2012, he did suffer a stroke while receiving a massage. Required brain surgery, but overall, he did pass away today at age 80. Death of cause was not provided, though he has experienced multiple health issues. So, overall, I'm going to get off because I got to get some water. We talked about an hour straight, no breaks. But, guys, like Tim Curry, he's won the Tony Award. He's nominated for Tonys. He's won the Daytime Emmys. Honored Actress Fund America. So, rest in peace, Dolly Parton. Rest in peace, Tim Curry. We might come back. We're going to come back Sunday or Saturday. Talk about it. But I need to grab some water. But other than that, guys, we'll do a little bit of, Brat Said That exit. I don't think anything happened. Let's see. Anything happened while we were talking on the show? We talked about, let's see, any breaking news. Let's see. Cody Rhodes poses as Marvel's studio headquarters. Oh, okay. We have been watching the Marvel movies. Let's see. And, you know, I love those things, obviously, you know. We've rated them. I don't know where it would be on my, here we go. Avengers Endgame still number 1. Spider-Man No Way Home. Avengers Guardians of the Galaxy. Captain America The Winter Soldier. Top 5. Bottom 5. Bottom Eternals. Thor The Dark World. Captain Marvel. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And Black Widow. Bottom 5. But overall, I gotta get off. I gotta get some water. So, let's do this. Let's do that. Do our exit sound. Let's see. Raw happened in Canada. We got SmackDown. Remember, spoilers. If you want to see the spoilers, go back and watch. NXT Heatwave this Sunday. I'm looking forward to that. TNA Lockdown. Avery Styles. Phenomenal, son. ESPN is denying report that has decided not to renew WWE. It's all about the Monday. UFC Fight Night. We looked at the card last week with Gregory Rodriguez. This Saturday, we got Song Yadong versus Nurmagomedov. Dana White Contender Series. Bellamir, you're going to bounce back. You got a hell of a future. You got a good, you know, you're fine. We looked at the blowouts. I like that. I really like that segment. NFL, Deshaun Watson, whatever. No more Pro Bowl. Rest in peace. Little League World Series. Go Henderson. Yes, we're going to look forward to the championship game. And, Target Bratwurst Award. What are you thinking, dummy? And rest in peace to Dolly Parton and Tim Curry. Before I leave, follow me on Twitter, Brat Said That X, Instagram, Brat Jackson, YouTube, Brat Said That Tube, and we are partnering with W. Yes, the energy brand. Should be getting some W stuff in soon. So, this show, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a whole lot of Brat. So, love yourself, love each other, and love Tim Curry and Dolly Parton and more people like that. So, I gotta go off now. I love you guys. We'll be back on Saturday. Oh, by the way, before I get off, we're gonna be back on Monday, 8/24, dedicated to you, Kobe, for obviously wearing number 8/24. Yesterday, Bray Wyatt, 3 years since you've been gone. I miss you. I know we never met, but you were, an awesome guy, awesome talent. And Vince McMahon's birthday was yesterday too, so he is up there too. So we'll be back on Saturday, which is the 29th. So we'll check out what's on the 29th. So, all right, guys, I'm getting off. I'm going to go grab some water, and bye.